know, for me, I came to Wheaton, and I didn't feel worthy to be a theater student. It was too conventional, too unsocialized, farm kid from Illinois. But Jim, like he did for all of us, he accepted me for who I was. He knew I could be more than that. And those lessons went way beyond Wheaton. Got married, had 3 children, moved to New England, where my husband and I were in the ministry. And in 1989, 14 years after I graduated, I remember being in hospital room in Boston's Children's, where our son, youngest son, was having life-saving surgery. And there, other than our church and my parents, there really weren't that many people that knew where we were that day. This was pre-cell phone days, 1989. And our son was in the middle of about an 8-hour procedure to save his life. And the nurse called us to a payphone at Boston Children's Hospital and said, "You have a call." And I picked it up, and a voice said, "Maya, Maya, June and I are praying for Jordan, and we couldn't wait to hear from you. How is he doing?" How in the world did that man find us at Boston Children's Hospital on a payphone, for goodness sake? But I just sat there and wept, and we prayed over the phone, and I went back and knew that somebody who was my other father figure was praying for my son, and he would be okay. And he was, I think, the first person beside my folks that I called to say he survived. He made it through the operation. And one more story. When I came back for, I think it was the 65th, Bonnie? When was that reunion? 1991. And we all greeted him. If you remember, those of you that were here, you know, he came into the darkened theater, and we threw on the lights, and we went, "Yes!" First he cried. And then there were over 100 of us who came back for that. And first he cried, and then he opened his arms, and we waited our turn. Many of them had spouses or children with, and I stood there waiting my turn, and I heard him greet not only his workout kids by name, but their spouses and their children by name. And later we went over to June's house, to their house, and I heard June saying, I was crossing the lawn, and I heard June say, "Jim, another one of the kids is here." Mitch and Steve, I can't tell you what it meant for us to be also your siblings, and for you to have shared your father with us, and Susan, the way that you did. You allowed us to be his kids too, and never resented that you had this huge tribe of siblings who were all demanding his attention too. But I said to June that night, I watched Jim never miss a beat greeting all of us by name, and our spouses, and our children. How does he do that? I have been gone 16 years at this point, and so many have come after me. And she looked a little puzzled, and your mother said, "Well, it's because he prays for you every day, every day." So I think if there's one thing we could all do, so many of us have reunited through social media after Jim had died. A lot of us who hadn't been in touch in probably decades. But that was another power, just power that Jim had, that legacy to bring us all together. And I think if there's one thing we could really do to honor his memory is, whether it's through social media or any other way, to just pray for each other and help Jim continue to outlive his life.